Alright guys, so I didn't know how I wanted to do this. I didn't know if I wanted to include this as part of my manga reading logs or just keep this separate, but I decided to just go ahead and keep this between me and you guys. This is gonna be how I just basically track the manga that you guys tell me to read. So for the month of January, I did make a video of how I wanted to basically get through my reading log for this year, and the way that I'm going to be doing it is by you guys voting for what series you want me to read each month. And for the month of January, you guys chose Deadman Wonderland, and as you guys could see, I did go ahead and complete it. The way this is going to work is I will read the first 3 volumes, and if by the first 3 volumes I enjoy the series, I'm going to go ahead and continue it and try to finish it within the month. And for the month of January, by volume 3, this series just got really good. There was a huge twist that was announced pretty early on in the series, basically towards the end of volume 3, and that pretty much just hooked me. I mean, and honestly, this series took me from the beginning. I loved the location, I loved the characters, and I loved the artwork. The artwork was spectacular in this series, and it just kind of went throughout the whole series. Like, there was these panels for certain characters in specific. They were just awesome to look at, and I always enjoyed seeing those characters on the page. But yeah, thank you for those of you who voted for this series. It was a great ride. I'm glad to have read this one first in the year because it was a nice short series. It wasn't too long. It was only 13 volumes, although it did take me past January to read just because I was reading other stuff as well, and then I just couldn't read every single day in January. But towards the end, I definitely, I'm getting used to reading at least 1 volume per day, so I'm hoping that I can do better. It's getting easier for me to basically just sit down every night and just read 1 volume. But getting back to Deadman Wonderland, for those of you who don't know, Deadman Wonderland follows a middle school kid named Kanta Igarashi who is pretty much framed for the murder of his entire classroom by this mysterious entity who he, at the beginning of the series, he calls the Red Man, and then later on we find out that he's actually called the Wretched Egg. I can show you guys, he's in the back of volume 1, and can you guys see that? The artwork on him, he's one of the characters that I do love, and he looks awesome. I love in color, I think he just looks much better actually. I love all of the blood splatter all over his body. You don't really see that in the manga panels just because it's all in black and white, but this image here on the back does give you an idea of how he looks. But yeah, because of the nature of the crime and it involving several deaths, even though he was a middle school student, they did end up giving him the death penalty. And they actually ended up sending him to this kind of bizarre prison, which is kind of also a theme park is what they call it. And it's called Deadman Wonderland. And within this theme park, they pretty much put all of the prisoners, they kind of put them through these trials. At the beginning of the series, they're kind of like death races. And I thought that was pretty cool. In volume 1, I did really enjoy that death race that they had at the beginning of the series. And I loved the little gimmick that they brought into the series where they people that are in death row, they have some toxin injected into them and they can only survive. The toxin will kill them if they don't eat a specific candy within, I think it's 24 or 48 hours, maybe even 72 hours. But anyways, they have to eat that candy, otherwise they're just gonna die. That's how the death row works in this prison. So they're basically forced to participate in every single one of these death races because they are optional. You don't have to get into them, but for those people in death row, they definitely need to participate in them to stay alive. And I thought that was really cool. Unfortunately, I will say that they kind of forgot about that pretty quickly within the series. I think by volume 4, you don't really see these death races anymore, and instead you're more focused into the dead man because we haven't really talked about that. But several years ago, there was like this massive earthquake, and it caused a lot of like havoc throughout Tokyo, I believe. And through this earthquake, there is actually ended up being some people that got some sort of powers because of it. So there's kind of like a supernatural aspect to it. And from what I understand, this power allows those beings with the specific power to manipulate their blood in a unique way that allows them to defend themselves or attack. So it's almost like every person has a different ability that they can do with their blood. Yeah, these people that have that power are called Deadman. They call them Deadman. All the Deadmen, they're actually located in a different section of the prison, which is called G Ward. And instead of participating in those death races that the other inmates partake in, which are seen by the public, the Deadmen, they have their own little private games, which are much more deadlier. There's much higher stakes, and that's kind of what I mean by once Ganta reaches into this G Ward, we kind of forget about everything that happens with the prisoners that are not Deadmen, basically. So we focus more on the Deadman, and I won't talk too much about the story anymore because I'm starting to get into spoiler territory and things past volume 3. I think talking about things up to volume 3 is kind of safe, I would say, but I'll stop my summary there. If that doesn't grab your guys' attention, then I don't know what will, but it definitely grabbed mine. I did really enjoy this series throughout, all the way to the end. And one thing I will say is that it gets pretty dark to the end, and there's also some kind of dark humor, some stuff that I found to be pretty funny, but it's also kind of messed up, and it does have to do with Ganta's backstory. You kind of find out how it is that all of this came to be, all of these dead men, how they got their powers, and yeah, it gets pretty crazy towards the end. And before I stop talking about this series, I have to mention Chiro, which is she's basically here on the cover of volume 1 and volume 2. She was definitely my favorite character throughout the series. I loved her character design, and she's one of the ones that I also do really enjoy seeing panels with her on them. And I love her personality. She's just super cute. All she wants to do is just be best friends with Ganta, and she's actually pretty powerful as well. So she does, at the beginning of the series at least, she does protect Ganta quite a bit. There are definitely some interesting things that they do with her throughout the series. So yeah, I loved her. She's definitely my favorite from the series, and honestly, by the end, I kind of wanted more. I was like, damn it, I can't believe it's over. But I will say it did end pretty good. I like the ending. It was kind of left a little bit open-ended for you to interpret what happens next, but the way I interpret it, it's a happy ending. You can either interpret it as a happy ending or a bad ending, and I think I would say it's a good ending. And if I were to give a rating to this series, I'd probably give it around an 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, guys, that will do it for my review. To continue on to what you guys are gonna vote for me to read next month, or this month in February. I know it's already been a week and a half basically into February, so I would suggest maybe choose something that's not too long, just so that I can make sure to get through it. Don't choose something that's like 20 volumes long, but at the moment I am currently reading The Eminence of Shadow and Yona of the Dawn. Those series are secondary. I'm mainly going to focus on whatever it is you guys asked me to read. So take a look at the shelf. I have also included some new series, which I will show you guys right now. These are some series that I got some volumes in last month, and I wanted to put those into my to be read shelf, so you guys can choose from those as well. But yeah, guys, anything you guys see here in my shelf, let me know what you guys want me to read for February. Leave your votes in the comments section down below, and I will conclude voting by the I kind of have to be really quick because I want to get started on this already, but I do need to catch up on Yona of the Dawn, so let's give it 5 days so that I can catch up till volume 5 of Yona of the Dawn. Guys, I'll leave the voting open for 5 days for you guys. Last month I announced the winner through a short. This month I'll be doing the same. I'll include a short, and that way you guys know what I'm going to be reading for February. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys want to talk more about Deadman Wonderland, we can also talk about that in the comment section down below, or you can reach out to me on Instagram or Discord. And as always, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video.